Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. I almost never wear this shirt. Pardon me. It actually belongs to my awesome audiovisual person. But it's funny because, you know, I often say that I'm a typical rising sign Leo. And this is actually something that would resonate with my rising sign Leo energy. And of course the sun is in Leo, so I'm wearing my Sekhmet pendant. But in the meantime, the time is approximately 9:56 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date is Monday, July 27th, 2020. Tonight is the night of what I call the midpoint moon, because the new moon was exactly 7 days ago, and the full moon is exactly 7 days from now. So, midpoint moon nights are very magical and mysterious to me. And they're not always Mondays. It's always the same day of the week as a new moon and a full moon, and the 7 days in between the two. There have been midpoint moons on Thursdays, and you know, basically any day of the week could have a midpoint moon. But usually that's how it is. It has to be exactly 7 days before a midpoint moon night needs to be exactly 7 days after a new moon or full moon, and exactly 7 days before a new moon or a full moon. That's the guideline. Anyway, so this is actually I mean, I could be wrong about this, but I think this is a very popular series of videos on my YouTube channel, and it is for the Llewellyn's 2020 Tarot Calendar. So I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the cover of the calendar. And as most of you know, all of the 2020 videos will have this cover image as the thumbnail. Now that the 2021 edition has been published, as soon as I get that one, all those videos will have the cover of the 2021 edition. And I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the August 2020 entry. And I'm going to read the articles in a different order, and then of course I will conclude the video casting the cards. Okay, so I'm going to take a sip of this super delicious tea. It's called Stress Therapy by Lipton, and it works. Cinnamon, chamomile, lavender, it's like... If you are afraid you're going to bitch smack somebody, you need to buy this tea. Okay, so as most of you know, the Barbara Moore writes all of this. So I'm going to start with the symbolism of horses. Oh. I might want my reading glasses at the ready. That would help. Okay, so here we go. The Symbolism of Horses by Barbara Moore. Comparing cards with similar symbols or compositions can shed light on differences between the cards. This is really apparent with the court cards, which tend to be very similar. With the knights, one way to understand how they differ from each other is to observe the speed of their horses. In other words, the speed of their steed. The swords and wands are usually moving very quickly. The Pentacles Knight, the slowest, is usually standing still. I often find that Knight of Pentacles to be engaged in contemplation, like what is my next move? The Dreamy Cups Knight is walking through water, emphasizing how he exists between worlds, often following a dream or vision that no one else can see and that seems to come from elsewhere. The Knight of Cups is a dreamer and visionary, which is not surprising because for some people, the Knight of Cups corresponds to Pisces energy. Pisces has that dreamer, visionary energy. Like all knights, he is committed to an ideal and devotes his energy to his quest. He follows his heart and isn't always practical. So true of a Pisces, especially the March ones, and if you've ever met them, you know. Symbol, the cup held aloft. His chalice is a true holy grail. He holds it firmly, keeping it in front of his eyes so it fills his vision. It holds the values that guide his steps. Now, when I first did the first video, which was like the intro video for this particular calendar, I remembered going through all of the months briefly, because my intention was to have all of the tarot decks that correspond, that are listed for all of the months that have spreads. And it just so happens that I already had the tarot deck that's going to be used for this spread, or rather that depicts the Knight of Cups from it, which is Tarot in Wonderland, which was written by the Barbara Moore and illustrated by Eugene Smith. So before I cast the cards, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do one more close-up of the Knight of Cups in the Tarot of Wonderland Tarot, and then I'm going to read what Barbara Moore wrote about the spread, and I'm going to read to you what each card represents, and then I will cast the cards. The Knight of Cups is devoted to a dream or ideal. Dreams can be hard to manifest. Sometimes, not always. Even though this knight seems absent-minded, his horse is laden with useful items. This spread can help you prepare for a successful quest. Card number 1, the Chalice. What are you chasing? What is your guiding ideal? Card number 2, the Armor. How are you protecting yourself? Card number 3, the Steed. What support can you rely on? Card number 4, the Equipment. What do you absolutely need for this journey? Bonus, draw a card for something to leave behind. Now, technically, officially this is a 4-card spread. Technically it is a 5-card spread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the deck, I'm going to say a prayer, I'm going to cut the deck into 3 piles, put them back together, and pull 4 cards from the top. The bonus card I'm going to pull from somewhere in the middle, and the final message card, as always, I will draw from the bottom of the deck. So, I love the High Priestess card in this tarot deck. It's very unique, and to me very unusual. So, as I shuffle this deck, I call upon Isis Fortuna, goddess of the sacred tarot, and by extension, goddess of divination. May the casting of these cards bring clarity and illumination, love and life, prosperity and protection, perseverance and peace, wholeness and healing to all those who watch this video. Amun, Amen, and so mote it be. Okay, so, and for the convenience of both my awesome audiovisual person and yours truly, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, I will pull the cards from the top. In fact, I'm actually going to separate the topmost cards, make it easier for myself. The bonus card I'll pull from the middle when we get to that point, and the final message card I will pull from the bottom of the deck. For now, I'll leave those cards where they are. And again, card number 1, the Chalice, or the Cup. What are you chasing? What is your guiding ideal? I happen to like the second question more. What is your guiding ideal? Because, you know, whenever we look for something, we don't find it. Whenever we chase after things or people, we never catch them. You know, I've often said that every time I looked for love, I never found it. And it's true. When I looked for love, I never found it. The only thing that I've ever looked for and found, really, was cookies and cream ice cream. Everything else, hit or miss. So, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the front of the card. Card number 1 representing the Chalice. And then I'm going to turn around turn the card around. That's what I meant to say. Then I'm going to turn the card around, and I'm going to have him do a close-up of the back of the card design. And by the way, I happen to love tarot decks where I can tell if the card is upright or reversed before I turn it over. If it's upright, it's Alice. If it's reversed, it's the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter's the rabbit, right? Okay. You're right. I'm long overdue to read these novels. I'm going to rectify that, I promise. Okay, so the Chalice. What is your guiding ideal? Ace of Pentacles. See, I'm laughing because, number one, traditionally all of the aces correspond to a change of seasons. So in my part of the world, Ace of Pentacles would represent the winter solstice. And I'm just going to say it, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube land, today is too fucking hot! I want to, like, shove myself into my freezer, I'm telling you. It's like, but by the way, this is the year that I finally get an air conditioner. Right? Right. This is finally the year. But here's the funny thing. Ace of Pentacles is a card of financial success. So I think that a lot of us have been looking for that next stage of the financial success. So I'm going to say this. So Ace of Pentacles, it tells me that we are intending, our intention is to manifest a newer and higher level of financial success, or financial solvency, or financial prosperity, or etc. of the like, and to experience cooler days and cooler nights. I heard the low was going to be 77 degrees. We're not at 77 degrees in my part of the world, YouTube land. We're not close, are we? No, we're not close. But it's okay. You know, this is one of those 5-shower days. It's fine. So that's what I'm getting. I feel that right now we're looking at manifesting the next level, or a newer and higher level of financial success or financial peace. It could even be financial peace. And you know what? Financial peace, you know, financial peace is something I don't talk about that often. And just thinking about the last few private prosperity classes and group prosperity classes, I really haven't talked about it that much. Something to think about. Who knows, that could be the topic of a new video. I don't know yet. So yeah, so I feel like the ideal, the new guiding ideal, is for us to achieve a newer, higher level of financial prosperity and financial peace. And, because Pentacles also relate to physical health matters, achieving a greater level of peace with our bodies, exactly as they are and exactly as they are not. Okay. Moving on. Armor. How are we protecting ourselves? So once again, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the card. And then I'm going to have him, and rather then I'm going to look at the card and interpret it. How are we protecting ourselves? Did you see what this card is? So I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the card, and next to the card on the calendar. By the way, for those of you that are new to my YouTube channel, this falls under the category of you can't make this shit up. Now I confess, in the back of my mind, I had a brief thought. I wondered, what if the Knight of Cups shows up? You want to know something? This is very in line with what I got from the cards that I cast for the Many Moons August 2020 video. So, we need to protect our hearts. Our physical hearts and our emotional hearts. And of course, our heart chakras. You know, I really do strive not to make my videos too long, but you know what? I've come to realize that if the great goddess wants me to do a long-ass video, she's not going to be denied. It's going to be a long-ass video if she wants it that way. The amount of energy that I'm feeling coursing in out and around my heart chakra, and specifically the area in between my physical heart and my heart chakra has me whirling and reeling. Like, I'm surprised that I'm still completely consciously here, if you know what I mean. So, now more than ever, we need to protect our physical hearts and our heart chakras. And, you know, it's so funny because, you know, now that a lot of states have reopened, now that a lot of places have reopened, I'm spending more time indoors than I did previously. So yes, so I really feel that this is the time for you to look at what else you can do to protect your physical hearts, what else you can do to strengthen them, what else you can do to nourish them and nurture them, and also what else you can do to nourish, nurture, protect, and persevere, or rather preserve, your heart chakras. Wow. And it makes perfect sense that the heart chakra would correspond to the Suit of Cups. Okay. Card number 3, the Steed. What support you can rely on, which you can rely. I don't like anything to. I do not like ending sentences with prepositions. I'm going to take a quick sip of tea, and then I'm going to talk about the horse a little bit. In the Native American cosmology, the horse represents power, as in horse power. So this third card one could argue is a pivotal card, because it's about what empowers us, and it is about the support on which we rely in this situation. And I'm also going to say it is both the physical support, the financial support, and the spiritual support. So again, I'm going to show all of you the card first. I'm going to have my awesome audio-visual person do a close-up of the card, and then I'm going to turn the card around, and then I'm going to read the card. The Chariot. You know that thing that's traditionally drawn by horses? Hashtag, you can't make this shit up. Wow. I'm actually a little dizzy. Like, really, like the... Okay, I really need a moment. You really cannot make this stuff up. I mean, it just blows my mind. All of you saw how thoroughly I shuffled this deck. Okay. So in true Alice in Wonderland fashion, Alice is the chariot, and one side of the chariot is being pulled by this hedgehog, and the other by this flamingo, this pink flamingo. And I could be wrong, but I think in the background is Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. Excuse me, Tweedledum and Tweedledee. You know that I watched Judge Judy when I said Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. So it's about moving forward. So moving forward, whether it is moving forward into a new chapter of your life, whether it is moving from your current position of employment to a new one, whether it is moving from working part-time to full-time, whether it is moving from working for another to working for yourself, whether it is from working at a job full-time and working at your self-employment part-time to working at your self-employment full-time, or whether it is moving from a toxic relationship to a functional one, or whether it is moving from your current residence to your new residence, you are physically supported. You are emotionally supported. You are financially supported. You are spiritually supported. You are energetically supported. You are psychologically supported. You are spiritually supported. You are everything supported. You have spirits and people and sacred tools that are here to support you, to empower you, to strengthen you. And it's so funny because just now, as I was saying all of this, I remembered a situation where I told my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos, who was also my amazing computer tech person for my electronics, including but not limited to my laptops and my smartphones, that if there is something that he wants to do, I am more than happy to financially support him to the best of my ability. And I feel that he needed to be reminded of that. And I don't know what all the details are right this second, but I do feel that he needed to be reminded of that, which is why they showed me in my psychic mind, me telling him that. And I think that also all of you needed to know this too, because there is at least one person in all of your lives. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how many of you are going to watch this video. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that this video will be watched by 100 different people. So out of the 100 people who watch this video, using this example, this applies to 98 of you. So 98 out of 100 of you watching this video, this will apply to you. Big time. Or as Judge Judy would say, big time! And I really do. Judge Judy's been on my mind a lot lately. Which is funny because last night I did watch a Judge Judy clip on YouTube for the first time in ages. Anyway. Can I get $45 million a year, please? Thank you. Okay, no, but seriously, it's there for you. It's absolutely there for you. And, you know, I really feel like some of you are not calling upon your mother goddesses, your father gods, your orishas, your spirit guides, your guardian angels enough. You know, one of my favorite people on planet Earth, the Michelle Swan Graham, also known as Swan of Dreamers on YouTube, there have been numerous occasions where we've talked about St. Jude, you know, San Judas, and you know, the one thing I say is harass his ass. And make no mistake, last year, I harassed St. Jude's fucking ass. I'm like, you are going to come through for me. You know it. And I will tell you that, you know, I personally do not believe that any situation is impossible. I don't. But I do believe that sometimes we are transfixed with the idea, with the illusion, if you will, that something is impossible, that a situation is impossible. And last year, there were a handful of impossible situations. And again, it was my perception of that illusion. I was caught in that illusion. I was stuck in that illusion. And because I saw it as an impossible situation, I was like, I'm harassing this motherfucker's ass. I don't care. I will buy all the St. Jude candles in the Botanica or in the supermarket because I am going to harass this motherfucker's ass. And I will tell you, I have no shame in saying that. I don't. And if I could not personally light the St. Jude candle, I had people who did. And believe me, I know of at least 2 people that were lighting St. Jude candles for me. And make no mistake, I would ask them about it because I would harass their asses about it. Right? Right. Because if I wasn't around and I couldn't do it, I'd be like, could you do me a favor, please? Please? Do me the favor and light this candle for St. Jude for me, please. Thank you. And believe me, I did. I'm sorry. I think I scared Durga the cat because she had jumped off the windowsill and she went to the kitchen and I think she was eating and then she heard me making that strange noise with my voice and she was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm going back to the windows. I'm sorry, mi bendita. Okay. Okay, so that being said, you know, I haven't even talked about horse goddesses. Epona. Epona is a continental Celtic goddess. She was a goddess worshipped in continental Britain when Rome occupied Britain. The continental Celtic goddesses are the goddesses that were venerated in Britain when Rome occupied Britain. That's why their names sound Latin, like Cordelia, Epona. There's another one, and I'm forgetting her name, but that's okay. It'll come to me. And by the way, Hecate has as one of her myriad of animal familiars the horse as well. FYI. Card number 4, equipment. What do you absolutely need for this journey? So again, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of this card. And then I will I'll turn the card over so I can give you one last look at the back of the card design. And then I will read the card. So it is 8 of Pentacles. You know, all these years later, this is the only Pentacles card that for me has nothing to do with money. Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles for me, I often look at higher education and continued education. So maybe there is something that you need to learn or relearn, as the case may be. And remember, you know, Mercury is not the only planet that retrogrades. You know, one of the things that I'm relearning is, actually what I've been doing lately is reconnecting with certain tarot decks and certain oracle card decks. I've also been reconnecting with certain spiritual practices that I haven't done in a long time. So it could be about something that you need to learn or relearn or reconnect with or connect with for the first time. But because traditionally the 8 of Pentacles is the card of the apprentice, maybe there is somebody that you need to work with as a way of strengthening your connection to your own spirit guides and guardian angels. Maybe there is something that you need, maybe there is something that you need to acquire that is along the lines of equipment to help you move forward, to help you realize and manifest that desired dream. And the bonus card I'm going to pull from this one or this one? This one. Okay. So, this is the bonus card. And the bonus card is draw a card for something to leave behind. So this is what we need to leave behind. I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the card. What do we need to leave behind? It's the 9 of Wands. You know, it's so funny because 9 of Wands and 10 of Wands have very similar interpretations for me. I look at the 9 of Wands as recovering from a battle, recovering from a wound, usually a physical wound. And I also look at this card as you're on the verge of becoming desperate for a vacation, which is ironic because in exactly 7 days I'm going to be on my vacation. But I really feel that for all of us, what we need to leave behind is any hard work that no longer serves our needs. You know, one of the many good things that have come out of the COVID-19 situation is how much honor more people have for self-care, how much more importance more people place on self-care. And I really feel that now more than ever we need to be patient and kinder and more gentle and more loving with ourselves with regards to what we do in a day. You know, if let's say that you start your day with 20 items on your things to do list, and by the end of the day you have only done 15. That's 15 out of 20. And you know what? Even if you did 1 out of 20, That's still progress. Because you know what, I think that sometimes we're just way too hard on ourselves. And I think that the universe is reminding us that, you know, as I call it, the world of men have placed these impossible standards for us to meet. Like, maybe the standard is not what's most important. I'm speculating. But for now, this is what I'm going to say we need to leave behind. We need to leave behind that we always need to work hard to make things happen. Because metaphysically and magically and mystically speaking, we don't necessarily need to work hard to make things happen. I think that sometimes we, you know, the being human, has this attachment that we must work hard for something to be worthwhile, or for us to achieve a certain level of success, or to manifest a certain desire. And that's not necessarily true. Maybe what we need to leave behind is that we need to work hard to make all of our dreams come to pass. And again, this is speculation on my part. But I know that one thing that I've been dealing with is that some things are more simple than they are. And I am complicating things more than I need to. And some things I'm complicating unnecessarily. And unfortunately, I don't always see that, as my awesome audio-visual person gives me these massively pointed looks. We're going to talk more about this because, you know, you giving me these massively pointed looks only speak a certain amount of words. And I want you to be very, very specific, which you will have the opportunity to do in a little while. Anyway, so that being said, yeah. And the final message card is, in my readings anyway, pulled from the bottom of the deck. So I'm just going to take the rest of the cards. You know, the 78 minus 5 is 73. So the remaining 73 cards, that's the bottommost card. Booyah! I said it the wrong way. Booyah! So that's the bottommost card. And of course, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the bottommost card, which is the final message card. And then I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to interpret it. Okay. Queen of Swords. Well, she looks like the Queen of Swords to me. You know I meant the Queen of Hearts, right? Okay. This is my embarrassed look, by the way. I'm almost never embarrassed, but right now I'm a little embarrassed. Okay, so, you know, she's wearing the red of the Queen of Hearts. But it's so funny because, you know, Queen of Hearts would be equivalent to the Queen of Cups. But, you know, what's the Queen of Hearts famous for saying? Off with their head. She's not waiting for somebody to cut off their head. She's got this big-ass blade that I think could cut through the spine pretty nicely. And clearly very thoroughly. So here's what I always say about the Queen of Swords. So in the tarot there are 4 counselor cards. Queen of Cups, the High Priestess, the King of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. Here's what's interesting about the Queen of Swords. She is the only one of the 4 counselor cards that has no direct or indirect connection to the element of water. She is a master of emotional detachment. So here's what I'm going to say about this. This is your final message card. Where are you too emotionally detached? Where are you too emotionally attached? To whom are you too emotionally attached? And of course, since Aquarius is the master of emotional detachment and Pisces the master of emotional attachment, I cannot help but wonder if this particular final message card is of special significance and resonance with those of you born under the sun signs of Aquarius and Pisces. So with that being said, I really do feel that now more than ever, regardless of what your sun sign, rising sign, or moon sign is, by the way, my moon sign is Aquarius, I feel that definitely this is about creating emotional detachment towards a situation, towards a person, and beginning to cultivate that. If you, and you know what, I think that all of you in YouTube land would know if you're being too emotionally attached to a situation or a person. Emotional attachment is not the same as having a vested interest. You see, I have a vested interest in notions and potions continuing to thrive and succeed. Just like I have a vested interest in Catland, the other place where I give readings, in continuing to thrive and succeed. Am I emotionally attached to both places? No. I love giving readings at both places, but if I no longer give readings at either place or both places, I'd be upset, but I'd get over it. Besides, I'd also receive more money because clients would need to pay my full fees. You know, that's how I look at it. But I do love giving divine discounts when I can, FYI. So, that being said, I think that this is the time for you to consider where you are being too emotionally attached to a situation, a person, a goal, or an endeavor, and begin to cultivate that emotional detachment. It's still running, right? Okay, good. Okay, sorry for that sidebar. So with that being said, YouTube, as always, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. I look forward to all of the wonderful appointments that all of you will schedule with me as of Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. I look forward to giving those of you who have scheduled in-person, phone, video, and email readings with me at Notions and Potions in late September of this year. And of course, I look forward to those of you who are going to have readings with me via Catland as well. But for now, I wish you a good night. Many blessings to you and yours, and stay tuned for the next video. And thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and of course, scheduling your sessions. Good night, and stay tuned for the next video.